Revenge, affairs, jealousy, money, and power. What do all these things have in common? Well, they seem to be the driving forces behind most of the decisions made during the reign of King Henry VIII. Henry VIII had 6 wives during his time as king, and the book review I'm going to be doing today tells not only the story of Henry's second wife, but also the story of her often forgotten sister Mary. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on the novel The Other Boelyn Girl by Phillipa, I believe I pronounced that right, Gregory. This novel is full of romance, drama, sibling rivalry, and deceitfulness. So, you know, some of the stuff that makes the best books. So let's go ahead and get on into this. When Mary Boelyn comes to court as an innocent girl of 14, she catches the eye of Henry VIII. Dazzled, Mary falls in love with both her golden prince and her growing role as unofficial queen. However, she soon realizes just how much she is a pawn in her family's ambitious plots as the king's interests begin to wane, and she is forced to step aside for her best friend and rival, her sister Anne. Then Mary knows that she must defy her family and her king and take her fate into her own hands. So, everyone knows the story of Anne Boleyn, King Henry's second wife, who the king had beheaded for treason. But there was another sister as well. Her name was Mary. Now, before we get into all this, I do want to put out there that I do not know what all in this book is accurate. As far as I know, it is a work of fiction. But towards the end, I'll tell you what I was able to find out is true after skimming the internet. Anyway, Anne Boleyn had a sister named Mary. Being a Boleyn girl meant basically doing whatever your uncle or your father told you to do. Which is why young Mary didn't think twice about leaving her husband, who she didn't want to marry in the first place, when King Henry took an interest, and her uncle told her to start sleeping with him, even though he was married at the time to his first wife, Catherine. Mary had Henry totally entranced and ended up having 2 kids that were Henry's, 1 boy and 1 girl. The thing to remember is that the Boleyn sisters had a very big case of sibling rivalry, so it came as no surprise when Anne swooped in and made King Henry fall for her. He forgot about Mary, had his marriage to Catherine deemed invalid, and married Anne. Everything was perfect for Anne, while Mary was made to be a lady in waiting. But things start to fall apart when Anne is unable to give Henry the boy child that he so desperately needs. And Anne takes some desperate, gross measures to produce a male child. Because that's what Henry wants most, is a male heir to be able to leave to rule the kingdom. It wasn't enough that he already had a daughter with Catherine, Queen Elizabeth, or princess. I don't think he considered her a princess at the time. Elizabeth was not able to be queen. Not at the time. It had to pass to a male heir. And because the children he had with Mary were illegitimate, her son didn't matter either. This book is told from Mary's point of view. It not only tells her journey and her experiences, but also gives an alternate point of view on the story of Anne Boleyn and the desperate, drastic measures that the Boleyns took to try to get their family onto the throne. There is incest in this book. Yep. Or at least accusations of it. There is some serious brown nosing. And to be perfectly honest, the Boleyns do not come out looking like the good people. Especially not her dad and her father. They just don't. Overall, I give this book a solid 4.5 out of 5-star rating. I enjoyed hearing about the Boleyn sister that history seems to have forgotten. It did take me a while longer to finish this one than the previous novels that I've read, but it is almost an 800-page book. Mine's not in the best condition. I bought it from a used bookstore. So the week that it took me to read it is actually pretty reasonable for an 800-page book. So, after skimming through some web pages, I did find that some, and actually a good part of the facts, to be at least somewhat accurate in this book. It is believed that Mary Boelyn did have 2 illegitimate children with Henry VIII. Also, it is known that Henry deemed his first marriage as invalid so that he could marry Anne. And, well, if you know anything about the Tudor history, then you know how it turned out for Anne Boleyn and most of the people in her family. Another thing that I liked a lot about this book was a lot of the things that you see is people going, oh, poor Anne Boleyn, poor Anne Boleyn. Yes, she did not deserve to die the way that she died. She did not deserve to be used by her father and her uncle the way that she was. But she wasn't all innocent in this. She wanted to be queen as much as anybody wanted to be queen. And she knew what she had to do to get it. And she did it. So I like that it gives a little more insight to what Anne might have actually been like. Now, as I said, this is a work of fiction as far as I know. But, so the stuff about Anne might not all be entirely true. But if she was in real life what she was like inside of this book, she knew what she was getting herself into. But that's just my opinion. Read the book. Check it out. It's a very good novel. I have read multiple other books by this author, and they're all about the Tudors, and she does a great job at describing them and a great job at telling the stories. And thank you for watching, guys. You know where the other book reviews are. Check out the channel for the playlist. More Disney content will be coming your way in the next few days. I just got to get around to filming again after injuring myself. And thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you for next time. Bye.